What's up, guys? Welcome back to a very solemn episode of the Completely Pointless podcast. I'm alone today. Nick and Jeremy have died, and I'm dead too. So if you're hearing this, just know we'll be back next week. I'm here with the normals.
I was just gonna stay silent the whole time and let you figure that out. So it's spooky. But I'm Jeremy.
I'm Nick.
See, that week y'all left me alone. I was very tempted to record just to record being like, "Hey guys, welcome back to the Completely Pointless podcast. Nick and Jeremy are dead." And then just sit there in silence for an hour.
You should have, but then it's like sit in silence, but like every 10 minutes or so, be like, "Yeah, no, totally, I agree," and then just more silence.
Like I said, I was going to, and then I ended up just being lazy and falling asleep or some shit. I don't remember.
It happens.
Yeah,
I mean, man, I don't know about you guys, but I've been all over the goddamn place this past like 3 weeks. So
yeah.
Let's see, I've been to 4 different cities in the past 3 weeks.
Hell yeah.
So hell yeah, all for work or depressing reasons. So let's go.
Oh. Wow.
I actually had a coworker whose aunt died, and he went out to Guam for that.
Guam?
Yeah, he's from Guam originally.
Huh.
That's interesting. Man, traveling, let me tell you, traveling for depressing reasons just sucks so much. Because you get in the car, and then it's just like dead silence with some radio going on for like 4 hours while you drive over to a hospital, and you're like, man, this fucking sucks.
Rip.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's not fine, but it'll be fine. How you guys been? Because I haven't talked to y'all in fucking 3 weeks, I think is what we determined.
Yep. It's been a while.
Yeah. I started going to the gym, found out the front subframe on my bike is bent, and had to order a new part for that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Otherwise, I mean, it's been pretty much the same old, same old. I went to, I don't know if did I go to Denver? Have we talked about that?
I think that was last week.
So it was a week before last.
Talked about it, yeah.
Oh yeah, so I went to Denver for with Noah, Hannah, and Sam for my birthday.
Oh hell
kind of, and that was pretty neat. Jesus Christ, the amount of fucking homeless people and like sketchy people in Denver is insane.
That's why I hate Denver. I've never liked Denver. I don't like the east side of Colorado.
It was fine, like in certain areas, but like in the city, it was fucking horrible. Holy shit, so many sketchy people. And we found like used heroin needles and shit. Oh my god, it was crazy. I was like,
that's
damn,
fantastic.
Free heroin. What are you complaining about?
Maybe I don't go to like downtown Dallas very often enough because I don't ever see that shit here.
Right. I feel like every town has that area where you get into and it's just bad, but some places are a lot bigger than others.
Yeah.
Because man, we've been traveling up to Amarillo for work recently. And again, we're mostly downtown in Amarillo, so maybe I'm just seeing the worst of it, but God, it's bad, man. There's like we were out there, we do a lot of night work, so it was like 2 a.m. and we're loading up shit on a trailer with a forklift, and there's a guy that keeps running out from behind the corner of a building doing like karate moves, like he's running and jumping and going hi-ya, and then stops and then just like slowly walks back behind the building and then comes running out hi-ya. Like,
what the actual fuck?
Dude, the amount of random we parked And we were, just going to get some stuff like from a pet store because we went there for a reptile expo, which was fucking sick. Um, but we went downtown to go to a pet store, and we got out of the car and we're just kind of standing there getting the meter figured out because you need to pay, park everywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
this random lady walks up like she works in a restaurant and just is like, just fucking rambling like loudly too, just loudly yelling and fucking just being belligerent. And she walks into the 7-Eleven, walks in there, pulls a sign off the window, and adds it to her collection of like various fucking signs.
What the
And
fuck?
just wanders off, just walks out and wanders off, still fucking rambling. She's like yelling the whole time. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
What the absolute fuck?
Golly. Man,
Dude,
I
that wasn't even
wish.
like the only person either. There was like every fucking like maybe quarter of a mile you went because we got some of those Lime and Uber scooters.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, like every quarter of a mile, there'd just be someone fucking yelling, like screaming. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
So there's so many things wrong with this.
It was so sketchy. I was like, Jesus, it was really fucking like depressing to see just human beings being that fucking strung out on drugs. I'm like, holy shit.
It's
Yeah.
fucking weird. Like, you walk through and there are people just, like, they're acting batshit insane, but to the point that you're like, this is what, crazy people do on TV shows. And then you're like, no, this isn't TV. This is real. Like, these
This
people
is
are
Yeah.
fucked up.
actual fucking life.
Yeah. You're like, well, that's depressing.
Well, anytime I see someone like that, I always wonder, how did you get to this point? Because you weren't always like this. You were a normal person at one point.
Yeah.
At one
Right?
point.
At one point, you were a normal person, but something happened. Some fucking domino effect of events has run you down this path of being strung out on drugs, homeless, and a fucking psychopath now.
Right. I mean, honestly, it's
Yeah.
probably they started out homeless and then were like, drugs!
Shit.
Must cope.
I don't know.
Must cope somehow.
Must cope.
Or they
Yeah.
got
Drogas.
strung out on. I always feel like people get strung out on drugs and then become homeless.
That's usually how it is because you know
You
you
know you're
get
gonna like if you get addicted enough, you're gonna fucking blow all your money and be
oh yeah.
completely irresponsible. I mean, just to, drugs don't make you smarter in general. I mean, Adderall maybe, but
I mean, but
Well,
it makes you
it doesn't
focus more for the short term, but I feel like long term it's still pretty harmful.
yeah, I've never done it, so I don't know.
Yeah. An Adderall. Unless somebody drugged me while I wasn't paying attention.
nobody's gonna slip Adderall in your drink.
Man, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I've missed out being and this is going to be a very privileged take on my part, so prepare yourselves. I feel
What's new?
I feel like I've missed out as a white man. I haven't gotten to do any of the fun drugs. What the fuck? All right, I just sitting over here drinking like a normal white man.
Don't even, Jeremy.
What, Brandon?
You know where we went to fucking college. We could have easily got into that shit.
Yeah, that makes it worse, Brandon. We could have gotten into it, but I didn't because I'm white and better than that. Just kidding. That was bad.
Well, when you word it like I missed out, that's saying
that's the
you
problem.
regret not doing them.
I kind of do, though.
I mean, you still live in the town.
I was about to say, I still definitely could do them.
Super easy.
Yeah, but it's always like one of those things. Like you have your party days. I don't feel like kind of same. I don't feel like I ever had my like party days, and now I'm too old to have my party days.
Right?
Because now if I drink too much or smoke too much, I'm worthless the next day. I don't wake up and like it's a fresh new day. I'm young and I'm 25 now. Not that that's old, but like that's kind of where it stops.
Couldn't imagine being older than that.
Well, it's like that's where like the whole youthful vibrance like kind of starts to dwindle, right? Like 25 is where it starts to peter off, and you're like, oh fuck, I hurt myself.
Kind of old,
taking a fucking, it's taking 3 months to recover.
Yeah. Well, that's like
but it just cracks me up because Jeremy's saying he missed out on it because he's white.
yes.
No, you missed out on it because you didn't go to parties because you have
Yeah.
social anxiety.
Yeah, no, fair, yeah.
I was gonna say it's not because you're white; it's because you a bitch.
Yeah, it's because I hate being around more than 3 people at a time. So
See, dude, this is why I've only smoked weed. I've smoked, drank, and I've done mushrooms once. And those are kind of like psychedelics, weed, and alcohol are kind of the only ones I really care
yeah,
for,
but I
I
feel
would
like
say.
those are the puss. That's the pussy shit. All right. Like,
It depends though. Like it's like mushrooms, yeah, I feel like that's kind of the pussy shit of psychedelics. But like I do want to try acid and DMT at some point.
yeah.
But
That's the
like I
thing. Is
feel like
like,
DMT is like the hardcore one, the one that really like woo, I'm about to get fucked up.
right. There are so many things that I'm like, man, I want to try them like at least once. I just want to try it just to see what it's like. But then I would be so worried because I think I have a somewhat addictive personality when it
You
comes to
do.
things, and so I don't even know if it's addictive, but like when I focus on something, like I find something new and I focus on it, I like hyperfixate on it, and so then I'm like, okay, well, my new thing is going to be cocaine, and for the next 2 months I'm going to do cocaine, like.
Yeah, I feel like there's certain drugs you don't try, right? Like meth, heroin, fucking crack, like or coke. I feel like
Right,
you don't try
and
those.
no.
Those are ones like those are maybe coke. Like I feel like cocaine you can try, but I know people who've done coke. I know a lot of people who've done coke, and none of them say it's like worth it. They're always like, yeah, the high is really nice, but it wears off super quick, and it's so bad for you. I'm like, yeah, and it just like once it wears off, you feel like shit. I'm like,
Jeremy wants to do coke and lose his nose. He wants to become
Dude, I
Voldemort.
could be Voldemort.
Well,
All
that's why
right.
people get like addicted to cocaine is because the come down is so bad.
Yeah, so when
Is
you're
you
off it,
have
you're like, this fucking sucks.
yeah, you have to do more just so you're not fucking suffering. So I'm
Right.
just like, I
It's
think
a
I'm
hard no
okay.
from me.
Yeah, I'll stick to like my pussy shit. I'm cool with that. I don't care. You know?
See, I definitely think, especially the past couple of weeks, I drink way too much, alright? So,
Well, I mean, you did say you were going through some shit,
I
so.
mean, but still, you know, alcohol's not a great coping mechanism.
No, it's not because it's a
It's super
depressant.
not.
It's a depressant, so it'll
Oh,
just make it
absolutely.
worse.
Dude,
Yeah.
I cannot tell you the amount of times in the past couple of weeks that I've gotten absolutely shit-faced just on a work night. And just, like, I have a little journal and a bunch of blank papers, and I just draw a bunch of really depressing shit on it. It's not good drawings, it's all stick figures and shit. But, like, it's me sitting in my room with the lights all red and dark, and then just crying and drawing shit. So,
I mean, we need to have like a group therapy session.
ooh,
Right?
dude, do you think we could hire a therapist and get them to come on to the podcast with us?
Fuck,
Uh,
maybe.
we would have to find one that would be. I mean, I'm sure there's some that would be willing to.
Bro, I'm totally sure because with the
Well,
COVID
I
era,
know.
dude, yeah, like there's totally gonna be therapists that'll join on a Discord.
Well, I know there are because if, General Sam did it with his
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
You just gotta start messaging a bunch of therapists. We'll get them on here. It'll go well.
I just wonder how expensive that would be.
Probably pretty expensive. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
What's
all.
the typical hour charge?
Probably
dude,
like
I
two
feel like a
200.
therapy session is like a couple $100 easy.
Yeah, that's only for like an
Well,
hour.
Yeah.
boom, Jeremy. Just get signed up for BetterHelp and
And then
request a group
Zoom
therapist.
call the therapist with
Yeah,
us on the line.
we'll Zoom call him and record it. We'll tell him, be like, hey, we can we record this for our podcast?
Well, I was thinking do like group therapy off the record, like not on the podcast. Just
No,
have
no,
like a
no.
little.
That's lame. All right.
You
No,
wanna spill the tea on the internet?
we gotta do it for the podcast.
Exactly. It's for the content, baby.
Didn't
Oh,
we
it's
talk
true.
about like having a therapy episode?
I'm
Uh,
probably. I feel
I
like
don't think
that's
so. I think we were talking about Jeremy seeking therapy
yeah.
and
I was
seeing how
talking
like
about
exploitative it is.
yeah, especially just BetterHelp. Not good times. Don't recommend.
No, but I recall us saying, I'm pretty sure it's in our group text. I was like, we'll just turn it into Jeremy therapy
Oh
session.
yeah. I mean, yeah, but then we were like, no, that would get way too depressing. We're
My buddy Esteban's been going through some shit too lately.
man, I feel like everyone has been good because like me, all my roommates have been having just real rough couple of weeks. All of my family, obviously, and just everyone I feel like I've talked to is just like, yeah, man, it's bad times.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Before these past 3 weeks, it was bad for me. I was really in a bad depressed episode. It was like fucking. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. It was like hard to wake up and like many thoughts of fucking suicide. And this past like 3 weeks since I've started going to the gym and like being more proactive, I guess, with certain things. I mean, my
Yeah, it's just
mentality is
way
fucking
different.
done like a 180. I'm
Yeah,
on like a weird manic kind of high right now.
that's good. I mean, because I do the same shit and have been doing the same shit. Is when I get depressed, I don't want to do anything. I lock myself in my room and I don't ever want to go out. But then if I do ever force myself to go out, I'm like, oh, I'm having a good time. Like this is good times, hanging out with friends. But then when I'm not, I'm sitting in my room, just double fisting Kraken and crying because I'm so depressed. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, and it's rough sometimes because like for me, there was no reason. I was just real sad boy hours, no reason. There was nothing going on in my life. I was just fucking depressed. And I was like, what the fuck? And yeah, I think it may have been the stagnation or something like that. Just maybe my subconscious was like, you're not doing anything. Do
Yep.
stuff. But I was so depressed I couldn't do shit. And I was like, fuck.
Right. It's like it's
All right,
a
man.
self-fulfilling prophecy. You're like, I'm depressed because I don't do anything, and I don't do anything because I'm depressed. And so
Yeah. Yep.
I
It's
always
freaking
find it really weird because there's always a part of me that like almost it stays logical. So I can look at it from like a third perspective and be like, yeah, no, you're depressed. You need to go outside. This is what's causing your depression. This is what's happening. But then the rest of me is like, yeah, but fuck you. I'm gonna be sad. Like,
Oh yeah, dude, I'm gonna turn on my camera. Check this out. This is what Noah got me for my birthday, or made me. It's like a little desk ornament.
ah,
It's a
nice.
fucking cylinder.
Oh,
Nice
hell
little,
yeah.
A
nice thick
mug? What
butt,
is
dude.
that?
No, it's just like a fucking paper
Oh,
cylinder so it
it's
can
just
stand up.
Hell yeah.
So I just
Man,
have it on
that's
my
like
desk now.
I feel like I need to print more just random garbage with my 3D printer. Just
Oh
leave it
fuck
around the
yeah, dude.
house.
Yeah,
Just
like
print a bunch of dicks.
yeah, little bitty dicks, like tiny dicks, and
Yeah.
leave them places.
Just leave them everywhere.
Yeah, if somebody pisses you off, just leave them a bunch of dicks.
I should,
Just like
since, I work at a bunch of different job sites all the time. Just leave a 3D printed penis at everyone.
just carry around a pocket full of dicks.
I just need to have a bag of dicks, and every time I go to somewhere, I'm like, man, this place sucks. It's a bag of dicks, and just put a dick down. Walk out, and it'll be fine.
And then just slam down your bag of dicks, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is that?" And you're like, "It's a bag of dicks." And they're
Of
like, "No
course.
way!" You just dump it out.
Yeah,
You're
dude, I was gonna
"It's
say,
literally a bag
like,
of dicks."
like get a bag and put a bunch of the little dicks in it, and then be like, you know what? You can suck a bag of dicks and put it on the table in front of them. You're like, what's that? A bag of
Dude.
dicks. Suck
Bag
'em.
of dicks, suck it, bitch.
I'm
I
not
feel like
talking figuratively. I am talking literally.
I feel like then you're starting to get into sexual harassment areas.
Yeah, just don't do it in the workplace, and you'll be fine.
Fair enough, man. That's so like
And they're just little dicks.
they're just little dicks.
Now, if they're big dicks, different story.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if they were big old Moby Huges, you can't do that.
Yeah,
But
but
little,
size is
little
all
like centimeter
perspective.
peters, you could do it with some centimeter peters. You could do a sack of centimeter peters.
I just
No
looked at
problem.
I just looked at Jeremy's profile picture and it just reminded me that Futurama's coming back.
Dude, I know, I'm so excited!
Yeah,
I
that's
fucking
gonna
love
be hype.
Futurama. It's so good.
I love that they're like still using all the same voice actors
Right?
and
Even
shit
though it
too.
was kind of sketchy there for a second, because, what was it?
Yeah,
The guy that voices Bender is John something. John...
John Stamos. Just kidding.
John Johnston.
John... I don't know if I remember, but they were like not gonna offer him enough money or something, so he's like, "Fuck you!" And then everyone threw a bitch fit because you can't restart Futurama without all the voice actors.
Yeah, facts. Nobody would watch it.
I mean, I would still probably watch it, but
Yeah, I was gonna say people probably still watch it, but man, I'm sure they would get review bombed.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like the
Nobody
show's
would
not the same without Bender.
I mean,
Yeah,
he'd still be
pretty
there.
much.
He would just sound weird. It's one of those where like
Yeah.
every like
Then he
fifth
wouldn't be
word he
Bender.
just says it kind of weirdly, and you're like, "What?"
That's like
Is that
having
right?
Adventure Time without the same voice actor for Jake.
Yeah. I think
Just
isn't that the same guy that voices Bender?
yeah.
Pretty sure, yeah. He does a lot of shit, because isn't he also the same guy that does, like, Archer and Bob from
No,
Bob's
Archer's a different guy.
Burgers?
No, that's a different guy.
You sure? I swear it's some
Uh,
dude named John.
no, but the guy, I think it's a different guy because that guy is like he's. I know what he looks like. I don't know his fucking name though.
Yeah.
He's fucking ugly. Oh my god.
That's
I
so
need to figure
rude.
it out. Well, I mean, both of them aren't ain't winning no prizes, but
Let's just say there's
That's
a
why they're
reason you
voice
go into
actors.
voice acting and not acting, alright? Like,
yeah,
that's
it's
mean.
John DiMaggio is the voice actor for
Yeah, that's
Bender.
the Bender, yeah. Who's the guy for fucking Archer
For
and Bob's
Archer?
Burger?
Oh, John DiMaggio
Is it?
for Archer.
Yeah, see, I
Oh wait,
told you.
no,
Suck
sorry,
it, nerd.
sorry. I didn't remove Bender from the fucking thing.
No.
Hold on.
Archer Bender.
Yeah, it was Bender voice Archer. It's Henry John Benjamin is the
Oh,
voice
okay, yeah.
actor for
That's
like
Yeah, for
hell of
Archer
a
and
name.
Bob's Burgers and
because John DiMaggio does King Grog, Bender, and them, and then Harry Benjamin does Archer and Bob and those kind of people.
yeah, he
What
does a
did
couple
you say his
characters.
full name was?
Harry John Benjamin.
Motherfucker has 3 first names.
Also, his first and middle name is Harry John.
I mean, that's definitely like a
Nice.
stage name he chose for himself, right? So like he knew what he was doing.
He's
Oh, yeah.
also an actor too, though. Like he is acting and voice acting.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Man, I feel like being a voice actor would be just exactly what I would want to do, right? Except
Yeah,
I
it
don't
sounds like
have
it'd be
my
fun.
voice isn't silky smooth, so guess I'm
I mean,
shit out of luck.
neither is Harry Johns, but he still makes it work.
With a name like Harry John, how can you go wrong?
Fair enough.
Very true.
I feel like if I ever were to get into voice acting, it would be like I would get typecast as like voicing the pedophile or something.
Yo,
Dude, that fucking reminds me. Holy shit. Okay,
I feel like
so
the word pedophile should never remind you of anything, Brandon.
it shouldn't, but it did because we had a guy that we had hired and we fired him. And so when we first hired him, my boss was like, he's definitely a pedophile. Well, because kind of just the look and a whole bunch of shit. But he was also a little league umpire.
Okay.
they all pedophiles?
I mean, there's quite a few of them, yes.
Guess what he got arrested for like last week?
Diddling a little boy.
Smuggling cocaine.
Nope, diddling a little prepubescent boy.
Sad.
Yeah,
Sad
it's
day.
like, what the fuck? He called it. Like, what the fuck?
Dude, why? I still will just never understand why pedophilia even exists.
don't know.
Just doesn't make
I
sense to
really
me.
don't.
Maybe it's just this kind of spins off into something, another story I had, but I just
Uh-oh.
fucking despise children so much, and so I can't see why anyone would ever want to have any kind of relationship with them. But that reminds me, I have a story when I went to the convenience store the other day. So I went into the convenience store to get me a drink, and usually when I
Mhm.
go in after work, I go to the bathroom. So I can wash my hands because my hands are disgusting after work. Uh,
Mhm.
and I walk in and there's this kid who looks like he's playing in the sink. I'm like, what the fuck is this dipshit doing? This fucking stupid ass kid. And so then I go to the bathroom and I come back and he's still like fucking just has his hands in the sink, like fucking around. What's this dipshit doing? And then I realize that his hands are all soapy and he's trying to rinse his hands off, but it's those little like motion sensor sinks and they're not turning on. And I was like, oh, okay, that fucking sucks. And so I walk up to the sink and I'm like, well, I guess I might as well try it. So standing right next to this kid, I can see his face in the mirror and I can see him like side eyeing me like, this idiot, he doesn't know the sinks don't work. And I go up, sink immediately turns on, and I start washing my hands, and I see him just like kind of like mouth agape, just like, what the fuck? And so then I like go and get the fuck, I'm drying my hands off, whatever, and throw it in the trash. And as I'm doing that, he's fucking with the sink that I was at, and it still
It's
won't
also
turn
not
on for
working.
him.
Oh my god, that's great.
But like I, as a big brain adult, realize that what's happening is you just kind of have to hold your hand in front of the sensor for like a good like 2 seconds before it comes on. Otherwise, just nothing happens. But he's just like you know very like hand in, hand in, hand out, trying to get it to turn on. It's not coming on. And so I'm drying my hands off. He tries my sink. It still doesn't work for him. And then I see him like cupping his hands to try to keep soap from dripping everywhere. Walk out of the bathroom and just go. I just hear in the background, "Mom." I was like, "Yeah, fuck you, kid."
Jesus.
I like how you didn't help him at all. You just watched.
So
You washed your hands in front of him and then just
yeah,
left.
What a dickhead.
this is the problem with this is that I identified so much with that fucking kid in that instant. I was like, that is exactly something I've gone through in my life and the exact situation I would be in. Where I'm like, it's not working. What do I do? And then see someone else fucking, make it work and not say anything about it. But I had this whole debate in my head like, should I help this kid? Should I just tell him, like, hey, you just got to hold your hand there for a little bit longer? And I was like, it's easier not to say anything.
Jeremy's over here like, this is a life lesson you'll never forget.
You have to
What
learn
a
just like I
fucking
did, kid.
dickhead.
No one in this world is here to help you. Figure it out yourself, pussy.
Exactly. And now he's a better man for it.
Facts, dude. He had his mom help him.
Exactly. I have
The
no
person
idea.
who's fucking responsible for his
Yeah,
ass.
for reals, I shouldn't have to teach your kid.
Yep, I feel that.
So anyways, yeah, that's
Just
why.
know, Brandon, if either of your kids are ever struggling with something, I'm just gonna watch until you or your wife fucking figures it
We're
out.
just gonna sit
Oh
there
yeah, I already know.
drinking a beer like
You fucking dickheads.
idiots.
Have
Hey.
their heads stuck in between two poles, and I'm just like, oh shit.
That sucks.
Somebody should probably figure that out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
I
my
hope
problem.
his parents come around at some point.
Do the thing where you like, wipe your hands. Not my problem.
You just gotta walk up to the kid and be like, damn, that sucks, and walk.
Jesus.
And I remember when I was stupid.
We were all there at one point.
Some of us still are.
Dude. Facts, dude.
And yeah, no, that's fine. That's why we just shouldn't. We should just tell kids every day that they're stupid. I'm sure it'll work out fine,
Yeah, that instills confidence.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And there's a reason that I'm, definitely gonna have kids at one point. I should definitely have kids.
Oh yeah.
Same. You and me would be great
Dude, we'd
parents.
be the best parents, all right?
Our kids would be so independent.
Exactly. Because they hated us,
Fuck, they would
but
have to be.
Yeah, exactly. They fucking had to be.
Man, I could not. And again, it's probably just because I don't have kids, so it's a whole man. Completely sidebar from what I was just saying. I was talking with one of my journeymen he's got grandkids. I think he's got grandkids. Grandkids?
Great
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 grandkids.
grandkids.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Words.
Great grandkids at this point. And he was like talking, we were talking because, when we go out of town, we drive out of town together, we share a hotel room, so we're just stuck together for like a week at a time. So we get some weird conversations going. And we were talking about having kids. He was like, "Yeah, so when are you gonna have kids?" I was like, "I can't have no fucking kids. I can't afford that shit." And he was like, "No one can afford it. You just have kids and then figure it out."
Yep.
I was like, "That's terrible advice. What do you mean?"
No, that's like legit what everybody does.
I know, but it's the worst mindset.
Like Esteban, he came from a homeschool Catholic background, so a lot of the people he knows, they're all homeschooled. They were all homeschooled and Catholic.
Yeah,
So, like the vast majority of his friends that he used to hang out with back when he was, whatever age, now they all like have 2 or 3 or more kids, and like none of them make more than like 30 grand like annually.
yeah,
And some of them don't even have jobs, and they're just like they're having kids on purpose, not like accidentally. It's like, oh yeah, we want to have kids.
yeah.
Oh,
They're
just being a
planning
parent,
for it.
so great. I love being a parent. And I'm like, yeah, but like you don't have the money for it, bro.
Yeah,
Like, how are
Did
you
not
doing
do
this?
that.
right. Like
Yeah,
the
like
having kids is definitely a very important thing. And, if you can do that, more power to you. But the idea of having to support another life when I can barely support myself is so anxiety inducing that it makes me want to cry. Like,
well, like with Brandon, I mean, he's over here fucking getting that bread, making that money so that he can make it work. And
You
these other people are just fucking like, I don't know what to do.
guess I'll have kids.
Yeah, no lie. Like they're like, fuck, dude, my life is miserable. Guess I'll have a kid. I'm like, what the fuck? That'll
what
fix
is
all my
wrong with
problems.
you?
I
Right.
mean, I'm like, what? They're like, oh, that's just what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to grow up and have kids. And I'm like, yeah, at some point,
It
not
don't
like
have to be
instantly.
now.
Like by choice, they're doing this. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that's a little different.
I know. I feel like it used to, times have just changed where it used to be like, oh yeah, you get married at 19 and you have kids at 24, and but now it's
Yeah,
like,
I
no,
mean,
you get married at 30 and you might have kids at 35, and
well, they're talking about the human race being at risk of underpopulation and eventually extinction due to people not procreating as much as they need to be.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like the
Yeah.
dynamic is kind of shifting
we
from
had
because
our time.
people aren't having like people don't make enough money to have kids anymore. Houses are too expensive. Everything's too expensive now. Like it's become so difficult to have the typical like family
Yeah,
now that a lot of people are like and also like I feel like a lot of people just don't want to have kids because of in a way selfishness, right? Like you want to and
yeah.
like you don't want to have like have kids, but
Well, and
it's
Yeah.
I also I don't know a lot about it again because I don't have kids, don't plan on having kids, but and I don't think Brandon, you know a whole lot about like daycare costs, but
No, I don't.
I've heard that the pay for daycares and like all and nannies and shit is just insane. Like it's $1,000 a week just to pay for daycare or some shit. So like, how can you afford to work and then pay for this daycare? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Right. Yeah,
it's
no.
very
I've heard it's
yeah.
fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, daycare is my brother had his kids in daycare for a little bit and because he wanted his wife to work. right? So or she wanted to work so they could have more money.
Yeah.
And they were losing money because of the daycare.
Yeah.
Even though she was working too. Like she
Yeah,
just
which
wasn't
is
making enough money. I don't think.
crazy.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like that. It's like, well, I need to work. And it's like, well, if you work, you're going to put the kids in daycare and
Still only get like an
all
extra
of your
$100 a
check,
week.
all of your check and some of my check are going to go to daycare.
Yeah.
So we're worse off than just having you stay home.
Right.
Right, like whenever the kids are in public school and shit, maybe that's fine, right? You know, then you can fucking start going, put them like, you know, start working then. But
But yeah,
during like the 5 and below years, no,
Yeah.
I don't think that's feasible.
And I
no.
remember I was like reading some people's discussion about like we need to go back to the old ways where the dad goes to work and the mom stays home and teaches their kids. We got to get back to that family dynamic. I'm like, yeah, but you know how hard it is for people to survive on one income now? Like, I, as a lone man splitting rent between three people, can barely survive on a single income. Like, what do you mean? People can't afford to do this?
Yeah, no, it's fucking ridiculous all the way around.
Yeah, like me and my mom have basically been acting like dual income household essentially, because you know
Yeah.
she pays for the house and shit while I save money and pay for like other shit like a retaining wall, you know, different like maintenance shit for the yard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Split the cost up a bit.
Yeah, it's the only way to make it work now.
Yeah, I mean it's just the price of shit. The gap between the price of things or the rate of inflation does not match the rate of income
Yeah.
at all.
No.
Like all these rich fuckers are making more and more money, which good on them. You know, they've definitely like some of them have definitely worked and earned it, but I know a lot of
Not
people
many
just
of them though.
were born into money, and yeah, like a lot of them were born into money and just you know get $1 million loans from their parents or some shit
Yeah.
to start their own
Well, it's
business.
like I
And
was
never have to pay it
looking.
back.
I was doing some googling, and it was like I was googling how many millionaires are like truly self-made, as in they started with nothing, got no money from anybody, made their own shit, and it was like seven. There are like seven self-made millionaires. The rest all had
Seven.
loans, and their parents had money, or they inherited something, or they were just given a business. Like
Yeah.
it's like this is crazy.
And I know a few people who were born into or like were born into money or inherited money and don't know how to manage it at all.
Yeah.
So they're just
Mm-hmm.
blowing through all of their fucking shit all the time. And I'm like, they're like, oh, I don't have any money. I'm like, stop being a fucking idiot. Live like a normal fucking human being. Jesus Christ. Like you're overspending it like you got it, but
Right?
which you do, but like, you know, you're not
Just spend
making
less of
enough.
it.
Yeah, like chill, calm the fuck down. You ain't got to live in the best house with the best car with the best fucking clothes. Like
Yeah.
No, they have to, Nick.
some of them think that way.
They though. Do they
Like they
though?
have to. Absolutely have to.
I mean, I
Like I
definitely would if
know,
I could, but
yeah, I don't know. A lot of
So
the whole status thing fucks me up.
on the topic of dumb shit,
Yo,
Jeremy probably has no opinion on this.
well, I have
Nick, I
opinions
know
about
you probably
everything.
do.
What are you talking about?
I have an opinion on everything
Well, I know. So you probably do, but it's more geared, yeah,
towards me.
geared towards you.
Gotcha.
It's about
Have
cars.
you seen? Did you see the announcement for the new uh Dodge EV?
Yeah,
What do you think about it?
I think it's fucking sick, but I
Aw,
hate that it's
nice.
an EV.
Oh, lame. EVs are
I hate.
nice.
No, they're not. You know why they're not nice?
Why?
Because think about your phone, right? With your
Mhm.
phone, the battery gets worse and worse and worse as time goes on,
I mean, yeah.
right? Okay. So then you go and you go and trade it in for a new phone, right? Which that's not a big deal because phones are only like $1,000, and if you trade the old one in, you get a lot of money for them usually. But with cars, That's not usually the case. These electric cars depreciate in value fucking like crazy. And then whenever you just want to keep it like and swap out the battery pack, like say on an internal combustion engine or internal combustion car, getting a motor swapped out's like 6 to 8 grand at the most. Whereas the cheapest electric car I think to swap the battery on is like a Nissan Leaf, and it's at the least 8 grand. And Teslas are running like $26,000 to replace the battery pack. Like, you might as well just go buy a new car.
I was like, yeah, but Teslas are just garbage all around.
And
But
like, explain to me how that's better for the environment.
see, that's the issue is where I like the idea of electric vehicles, and I think that is the future. The only holdback is we
Battery
have to improve
technology.
our batteries. Like
Yeah,
the
the battery
batteries
technology
are
is
the
still
holdback.
fucking. Yeah, because they just die over time. They just don't
Yeah,
hold a
they just
charge as
get bad.
long.
And like the
Yeah,
process of farming all the lithium and the carbon and
Bro,
whatever
lithium mines are
is
fucking
bad. It's
terrible.
bad.
right. And
But
so if you're having this like, and a lot of people who buy these electric cars are in that mentality of like trading up all the time. They want the newest best thing, and so they're manufacturing so many of these, and so many people are just buying them, then not you like fucking buying another one and just letting the other one go to fucking just rot or be like junked or recycled or whatever the fuck. And half the time, it's just so much production that it's more pollution than I would assume. Like, if because we were talking about like Sam's dad's Model 3. Um, he's had that thing maybe 3 4 years maybe, and he's already complaining about the battery not
yeah,
not
not
holding a
holding the
charge, or
charge.
like I think he used to get like, I don't know what their range is. He has like the top trim level, so it's like 250 miles or some shit. And now I think
Mhm.
he only gets like 150, 175 miles per charge. And I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't happen with internal combustion engines nearly as quickly. Like, they do degrade, but not nearly at that rate.
Yeah,
Oh
but
yeah,
I
no.
mean, I
You can get them
also
rebuilt, and also, what was I going to say? I would think if our society wasn't so money driven, we could have a program to where like if you bought a car, you could take that car back to the dealership and have them refurbish the car for like a low rate, like a really low rate. You could just completely go in, or like they have a revision on something, and like instead of buying a new car every single year or making new cars every year, they just have the one car that they then make revisions on, that you can take your car in and have them do the revisions.
yeah. Well, see, this is like one of those situations where I feel like the idea has outpaced the technology. Like you're saying, is everyone's like, yeah, electric cars, because if we could actually get efficient electric cars, they would be a lot better. But we don't have that yet mostly because of the batteries. So I think it's a good direction to go in. We just need to give it more time.
Also, I think part of the problem is, and also I think will be with Dodge's new car, is they're making these electric motors have way too high of an output, and so it's just destroying these batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not doing it sustainably. And
Oh,
especially because, so what people don't realize is the amount of fuel used in the lithium mines to get the amount of lithium for these big ass battery packs they're having to put in because the battery technology isn't there. The amount of fuel burned to get that amount of lithium is likely more fuel than you will ever burn in your whole life.
yeah.
Just getting enough lithium for your battery.
I think electric cars are a nice idea in theory, but it's just I can't constitute the cost. They're too expensive. They're too expensive to buy. They're too expensive to replace battery packs on. Granted, now if you're really good with money and you are aware that the battery pack is going to need replaced, then no big deal. You can save up that money over the lifespan of the car and get it replaced when it's due.
Yeah.
But most people don't even know when they should change their fucking oil. So I doubt
Right.
people are going to be like, "Oh, in 8 years, I'm going to need to replace this battery, which is going to cost me $20,000 plus." Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
save up for that. Yeah, no.
Honestly, the way to go at the moment is hybrids. Hybrid cars are
Mm-hmm.
where it's
Yeah,
at.
yeah.
But
Honestly, because like Prius like if you want to replace the battery pack in like a Gen 1 Prius, it's like $1,300 to buy the battery, and you
Yeah.
can. I could do it myself.
And those things
Yeah.
get what, like 60 miles to the gallon or something? So
It's like 53, or
yeah,
something like that.
something
Average.
insane.
Yeah.
But no, like the way they're doing it is dumb. Like I get all electric. Like yes, you want to not burn fossil fuels. Blah 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 blah. Cool. In idea, yes, cool. But at the time being, it would be much more efficient to put a smaller battery and just a little fucking, even just a little gasoline generator that will fucking just, it'll make enough power to run the motors.
Nah, diesel,
And-
son.
Oh yeah, no, diesel preferred, but it's just, oh, hybrids, no, those are still bad because they still burn fuel.
Yeah. Well, and
They burn
again,
such
I
a
can.
minuscule amount, though.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
draw like, but that's the mindset, I think, is what you're saying, right, Brandon? Is that it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
hybrids don't use gas, so gas is bad. But I could still almost draw like a similarity between electric cars and nuclear power. Nuclear power, back when it started becoming like a big thing, was like, oh, this is fucking great, and it is fucking great, but we weren't able to use it safely and efficiently when it was big, and then things went wrong because we pushed too hard, and now people are like, yeah, no, nuclear's bad, it's a bad thing, we shouldn't do that, when it is what we should be doing.
Well, a big problem with nuclear power is dealing with the waste.
I mean, yeah, but even then, it's like back when we started, the waste was really bad, but now we've learned how to actually do it properly to minimize the waste and then to properly dispose of the waste.
Yeah.
So now nuclear power, we can. Oh, dude, it's about to be Fallout up in here. We're gonna have nuclear powered cars and
yeah.
Hell yeah.
TVs.
Let's fucking do it.
Two with little nuclear fusion generators, fusion, one of those, in the cars themselves, just
Yes.
driving nuclear bombs.
Yes.
would.
Fucking
Well,
let's do
see,
it.
that's another thing, is that I feel like nuclear energy and electric cars should be the ideal future, because now, like, we live in Texas, where pretty much the majority of our power comes from coal plants, because all of our solar and wind gets sent off to Dallas or everywhere else but here. So if we had nuclear power,
Excuse me, the energy plan I'm on is 100% renewable.
ooh, look at you go!
Air quotes, fucking solid air quotes, because I have no idea of it, how much is actually, because it's all provided by one company.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of companies sell you the energy. So maybe they probably own all renewable, but the power
Yeah,
that's getting delivered to me is a mix.
Yeah. Yeah. But that, I mean, again, I feel like it's a good direction to go in. We're just not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But, we'll be dead before we actually get full renewable energy, so.
I will say though, I do love the styling on that new electric. It's a Charger, right?
Yeah. It looks good. What do you think about the a heavy air quotes here exhaust system?
I think it's dumb.
What?
It's fucking so okay, so Jeremy,
Yes.
Dodge is releasing a new EV muscle car. Heavy air
okay.
quotes around that too.
Yeah.
So in the like promo ad, they're like, it needed to look like a Dodge and have the spirit of a Dodge and sound like a Dodge. And they pull it out and rev it up, and it sounds like a fucking 4-cylinder that is hopped up on crack. Because it blows air through pipes and baffles and whatnot to make it sound like it has an exhaust.
Yeah.
So you're wasting more energy doing that, right?
Right, because it's completely unnecessary. And
they also instead of being, a normal electric car that just uses the electric motors as they're intended to, that, just they go from 0 to whatever RPM and you go. No. They put a multi-speed transmission in this electric car to make it feel like a Dodge.
Yeah. And I don't know. See, that's another part of this is that I feel like electric cars are being stunted because there's this mindset behind vehicles, and you buttholes are definitely guilty of this. Where it's like, it's got to be big and powerful. We need to feel the power between my legs. I was like, nah, bitch, just give me an electric car. I don't give a fuck.
Well, I was actually looking into an electric car. I was legitimately looking into getting a Nissan Leaf until I did more research on the cost of replacement of a battery pack and how long they last. And they last on average from 8 to 10 years, and they cost about $8,000, plus or minus $1,000 to swap. And I was like, fuck, dude, fuck that. That's basically the same cost as me getting just some fucking, like, I can go on Facebook Marketplace right now and find a Toyota anything for under $3,000 that
I
is
wouldn't say
perfectly
Toyota
fine.
anything.
Well, Camry,
Toyota,
Corolla,
Toyota
Avalon.
car anything.
I mean, you can find old ass Forerunners that are beat to fuck, but that's different. They're not. That's not anything you want to buy as far as like that's a project. But like
Yeah.
you can go on Marketplace and shit and buy a $3,000 car
Oh,
that's
yeah.
gonna last you for fucking probably that same amount of time,
Yeah.
and put maybe fucking $2 or $3 into it over the lifespan of the car, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why the fuck would I waste all that money? And like the Leafs like bought like on the low end are like still like 11, 12 grand,
Yeah.
$8,000 maybe. And I'm just like, show me a cost effective electric car, and you can't. They're like, oh, you save all this money on gas. Put the gas money towards their battery replacement. I'm like, then I'm still spending that money on the fucking car.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
see, then I would make the argument against you where if you're still spending the same amount of money on gas, so like, all combined together, your gas car and your electric car, you'd be spending about the same when you gas, whatever the shit. Then shouldn't you pick the more technologically advanced or eco-friendly option?
Fuck you.
I had to bring it
Well,
back.
the problem there is the initial buy-in into an electric vehicle isn't feasible, like as far as compared to a combustion engine car. Like I said, I can go buy a fucking shit box for $3,000 that'll last me 10 years maybe. And even if it doesn't, that's still just $3,000 as opposed to $12,000 initial buy-in and then or more, and then the future battery pack replacements if I plan on keeping it that long.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's kind of like because if you buy a used electric vehicle, there's no telling if the battery pack has been replaced, and there's no telling how long it will last. And so one day, you're driving along and fucking, oh shit, my battery's draining really fast. Oh, holy shit, my battery's draining really fast. And then you have to get it towed, and you have to go fucking take it to a specialized. You have to take it to a dealer to get it replaced, or some specialized shop that's going to charge you an arm and a leg for labor. It's like, god damn.
Well, and then also, like looking at the used market, all of the shit Tesla's been doing. So they've been. So there was a whole news article about it, but it was so a guy bought a Tesla, paid for the upgraded battery, and I air quote there, because it's the same battery.
Yeah.
They just software lock it because he bought the car and then he was like, "Oh, I want to get the upgraded battery." So he called the dealership and he was like, "Hey, can I get the upgraded battery for my car?"
They were like,
tell me when I can come in. And they're like, "Oh, no need." He's like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, if you don't have to come in, we can just turn it on."
Yeah.
So they had 30% of the battery locked out for like a $10,000 charge.
Yeah.
Okay, so then this guy this guy sells this Tesla to another guy. He drives it. It's fantastic for 2-3 weeks. And then he notices I'm getting 30% less mileage on this battery. So he calls Tesla and he's like, hey, I need to get my battery looked at. Blah, 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 blah. They turned it back off after they got word that this guy sold his car.
Oh yeah, because like you haven't paid for
And
the
they
service on
and
it.
they
So-
demanded him pay to have them unlock it.
yeah.
Because guess
See-
what? It's not about saving the earth. It's about making fucking money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I 100% agree. Tesla's a piece of shit. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's just been fucking ridiculous. It's like, oh, well, fuck me, I'm not buying a used Tesla. I'm not buying a new Tesla.
My thing is,
Because A, they're money hungry. They want you to upcharge you to turn on options. B, they're built like shit.
Yeah.
C, fuck Elon.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go there and get fuck Elon.
it's kind of a piece of shit.
Well,
Yeah.
my thing is like if they were about, if the whole idea was to be more eco-friendly, right? Then why are these cars so ridiculously priced, so ridiculously optioned out? And
Mhm.
you can't find a brand new electric car for under 30 grand. I mean, maybe like 25, but even then, like, it's just that
Yeah, but
It's
again,
about
I don't
money.
think that's an issue with the technology. It's more an issue of our capitalist societies.
right.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey.
I agree. Yeah.
You can get a 2023 Nissan Leaf starting at 27.8.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
but
at the
then,
moment, hybrids are the way to go.
the typical dealer markup is about 5 to 8%. So tack on 5 to 8% of that 27 on top of that. That's what
Well,
a lot of
yeah.
people like whenever they're like, whoever's listening to this, if you're looking at buying a car, like used or not, generally if
Order
you're buying from a
from
dealer,
the fucking factory.
yeah, like if you're buying from a dealer, they're gonna mark it up 5 to 8%. So you'll always want to add that on before even like contacting the dealer.
Yeah.
Also, fucking on the topic of dealers, I fucking saw somebody had posted their letter they got from a Chevy dealer, and it was like, we've received your $6,000 non-refundable deposit for the 2023 Corvette. Should you back out of the deal, this $6,000 will be used for reselling fees, marketing, and like holding costs, basically.
Yeah.
And then it goes on and just talks about a little bit other shit, and it's like, this car will be sold $90,000 over MSRP. So you're getting an optioned out Corvette for, they say starting at 65. So say it's a base model. So you're getting a $65,000 car for $155,000
Yep.
plus tax, title, license, which tax on a sale of $155,000, tack on another fucking 20 grand for tax, title, license. Because tax, title, license doesn't go off of MSRP; it goes off of what the fuck the car was sold at.
Yeah.
So if they're selling it at 155, you're paying for 155.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to, in general, if you're buying a car, you want to tack on about 16% on top of that, and then that will be your budget, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, you take your budget and you take out 16 to 20%, and that's how much car you can afford.
I will say though, electric, or not, cars right now are just way too expensive.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
The cheapest new car I could find was a base model Chevy Spark, and it was like 13 grand MSRP. So then you add fucking, probably I'd say 4 grand on top of that, all out the door. So it's like a $16,000 micro penis of a car that has nothing on it. And
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
Chevy Spark, so it's a fucking shitbox. Like, Chevy doesn't make good cars. So,
Yeah.
except for their Bolt. Apparently, the Chevy Bolt, the Chevy's electric car is really
Well,
good,
see,
but
I heard a
they're
bunch of
stupid
shit about the
expensive.
Chevy Volt, not the Bolt, but the
Yeah,
Volt with a V, that it was like a phenomenal hybrid car.
Yeah.
But then they
yeah,
canceled
they're
it,
really
or they
good.
stopped
Yeah,
production on it. So
yep. Yeah, the Bolts are really good cars,
Uh,
apparently. But they're expensive
one.
too.
Oh, they are. One
I
of
didn't think they were that expensive.
the guy we
They're
went
not
to
bad.
high school with. His mom drove a Volt for a long time. Like shit, I'm talking like 6 or 7 years. She got it when we were in junior high, and last time I heard, she was still fucking driving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
what I
like,
heard about them is the batteries on them lasted forever, and they were still 6 or 7 grand to replace, but you only had to do it every
But
6 years.
yeah, but the battery lasts so long because they don't shove, 1,000 horsepower worth of
Yeah.
motor in them.
Man,
They've got a jet like 150, 200 horsepower worth of motors.
yeah.
So it's not drawing near as much off of that poor battery.
yeah.
I think just
Yeah.
in general though, like if you go and look at what people are buying, they're just too expensive. Like
Oh,
cars in general
absolutely.
right now, you're losing your ass if you're buying a car right now. A
Yeah.
used one.
Well,
I
because that's
saw a video
like,
the other day. It was a guy in a dealership going around to his workers, being like, "What's your car payment? Blah blah blah. What do you drive? Blah 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 blah." Dude, there was not a single one of them less than $1,300.
yeah.
And I mean, granted, they were all nice cars, like wide body Hellcats and Raptors and stuff like that. But like, bro, that's a mortgage payment on a fucking car.
Right.
We actually, me and Esteban looked it up and what like a reasonable percentage of your income you should spend on a car, and apparently it's like 50%.
What the fuck?
Fuck.
Like 30 to 50% of your income is like reasonable to spend on a car.
It's insane.
Okay, wait. Are we talking about like yearly gross versus vehicle cost?
Yeah, like your
Okay,
yearly
yeah,
income versus vehicle
that makes
cost. So like
sense.
if
That
you make
makes a
like
little more
70,
sense.
yeah, but still, I'm not spending half of my fucking income on a car.
I don't know, man. Just like, I don't know if that's including
Well,
it, but
if you
like, if
make
you're paying, you got gas, maintenance, all the small shit you got to buy for your car all the time, and then the car payment on top of it, I feel like that can become pretty realistic.
Well, like I'm a car guy, right? And I'll be transparent here. I make about 70K annual, about. And so that would equate me to get a $35,000 car, which is around like a $500 car payment for a 4-year finance.
Yeah.
That's on MSRP though. I mean, well, we'll say out the door it's 35 grand, which that all that lets me get is like a fucking base model Civic.
Yeah.
Like a Civic Si brand new right now is like 36, 38 grand MSRP. That's a fucking Civic. Granted, it's an Si, but like it makes 200 horse and it's a Honda. Like, okay. Like your
Yeah.
options are so fucking limited, even
Right.
based on that logic. Like, and I'm not gonna spend that much on a car because like I don't understand people who will buy a really fucking expensive car whenever you can go buy some fucking shit box off marketplace that's gonna do the same fucking job. Like
Yeah.
it's still gonna get you to work. It's still gonna get you around. Like
Well, that's like my truck
Vanity.
is shitting itself at the moment, and so I'm debating fixing it or just buying a new cheap car. But I'm like, I can spend like, 5 grand restoring it to good as new, basically. Or I can trade it in, spend another 5 grand, and get another car that will basically be in the same state. So
well, what I would recommend for you is sell your truck and use the money to buy something that's more economical and
yeah,
more
You-
reliable,
and that's
like a
what I was
Toyota
looking
or
at.
a
Yeah,
Honda. Yeah, like I would, if I were you, I would go looking for like just a fucking Corolla or a Camry.
yeah, something
Like
small,
nothing.
fuel efficient.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't need a truck. Very few people need trucks. Like,
Yeah.
Well, and that was part of my reasoning when I got the Jetta is, well, I'm having to put so much into this truck a month to just keep it fucking running, but then I'm also putting so much in for fuel.
Yeah.
And so when I sat down and I was looking at cars and shit, I broke it down and I was like, okay, so if I buy this car, the money I save in gas is gonna pay for this car. Like it's gonna pay the car payment.
Oh yeah.
Just what I save in gas.
That's why you buy a Chevy. All they do is burn oil. It's
Fuck
funny
this.
because like we have
jokes.
because we have Brandon who's the Mopar guy, then Jeremy drives a Ford, and I am a Chevy guy.
Yep.
So we have all three perspectives, and so far my truck has been the most reliable.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
Well, my truck was reliable for a long time,
Yeah,
except the
yeah,
transmission.
Mr. 3 transmissions or
Shut the
4
fuck
later.
up.
okay,
The
see,
transmission was the only problem.
I've never had to do any of that shit. So
Yeah, see, even Jeremy's Fords had better luck, dude.
oh, the only thing I've had to change is spark plugs and ignition coils.
Oh God, how was that spark
Oh,
plug
God.
change? I bet
It's-
that was a nightmare.
It actually
Nerve-wracking.
wasn't bad. I replaced all the spark plugs on my truck, and I mean it was probably $90 for all the spark plugs and shit, but I did it by myself.
Fucking,
You're bold.
yeah,
You're
you are
bold for
bold.
that. You're bold for changing your own fucking
Why? It
5.4
was
Triton spark
it
plug.
was easy as fuck.
One
Yeah.
slip up, and then it's not easy as fuck
Nah,
because
it's
now
easy
you
as
have
fuck.
to drill out ceramic and retap your fucking cylinder.
It was easy as fuck. I didn't even have the fucking spark plug socket. I just had to choose the closest one I could find and be like, this will work.
Save your ass.
That's fine. Anyways, we're out of time, boys.
Damn.
Is there
We
anything?
were really on one today.
Kind of were, yeah. I mean, when you go 3 weeks without talking to each other, hopefully we have something to talk about,
Yeah.
Fuck right.
For fuck's sake.
Well, you guys got any hot takes you need to get out before we end today's episode?
Yeah. Don't be too loyal to one brand or you'll fuck yourself over.
Fair enough. I mean, I
Facts.
just bought some new drills, so now I have a Milwaukee drill, DeWalt bits, and what the fuck was the Ryobi lights and stuff. So you gotta diversify.
I got all rigid.
Yep.
Except my
like-
bits and my hole saws and my hand tools and
Yeah, I got Greenlee hand tools, Klein belts,
all my power tools are rigid.
Nah, dude, I've got a Milwaukee fucking ratchet. I've got a DeWalt drill, and then all my other shit is Ryobi.
Bro,
Yeah.
kind of
It's
small
just a
side
battery
story.
ecosystem.
I bought because our supply house we go to has sales and specials going on all the time. So I bought a new tool set that came with a drill, an impact, a hacksaw, a lights, 3 batteries, and a multi-tool for $400. And I went to go pick it up, and they're like, oh, to approve the new price, we got to have a manager or whatever. But I can just put your card on the account, and when the manager gets in on Monday, they'll charge you the actual amount instead of, the full amount. And I was like, okay, but what's the full amount? And they're like, oh, it's only like $900. And I was like, no, nope, not happening. I'll come back.
He said, fuck that shit.
No, sir.
Jeremy's over here like, don't fuck me.
Like, I don't have that much money at the moment.
Please no fuck you.
But anyways, as usual, you can find us anywhere you listen to your podcast. That is Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, RSS.com. Someone really needs to post a Twitter post because I have not posted Twitter in like 2 months.
God damn it, Jeremy.
Sorry, why do I have to do everything? All right.
Because you took that responsibility.
Because you did it. Anyways, with that,
Fucking Christ.
I hope everybody has better weeks than apparently most people have been having the past couple of weeks. We
Yep.
will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.